All right, man. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Morning Masters Podcast, your host, Main, of course. I'm back with another Thinking Out Loud. I do not know what number this is. I wanted to have 50 before the year was up, but I don't think I'm going to get there, but we'll see. First and foremost, I want to say thank you and shout out to all the supporters, all the listeners on Morning Masters, both Morning Masters and Main and Slim, but all listeners, all the supporters, everybody who give me feedback, who comments on the YouTube, who comments on a Facebook video, who shares them, comments on the Reels, who shares them. The amount of support, especially this month, has been amazing. Seeing that I haven't put out too much material, but the material I did put out has garnered a lot of attention, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, things of that nature. So definitely, first and foremost, shout out to all the supporters. You can't do anything without you guys. So shout out to y'all. All right. This thing allowed gonna be a little different because I do want to talk about some things that've been in the media, just because I wanted to get it out and I wanted to, kind of give my piece on it. I like giving my piece behind the mic because if you do it on social media, everything I say tends to be taken as a joke. But I mean, I don't know. I do joke a lot, I guess, but I'm no joke. I'm no joke. No, that's what I'm playing. But yeah. So shout out to all the supporters, man. Before I get started on the Thinking Out Loud, man, I do have to address something. I want to say, I never set out or try to intimidate anyone, whether it be with my personality, with my aggression, with my physically, nothing. I've never set out to do that, and I do not set out to do that. Um, I don't consider myself to be a bully, even though I heard it twice this year. That's just not what I'm set out to be or set out to do. I do feel like people are sometimes a little timid, and I would just say soft, and when dealing with someone who isn't soft or timid, things can seem as if it's a bully situation, but I have never bullied anyone. Growing up, when you bully people, things happen to you. So I always felt like, not being a bully. That's just me. I never felt like I was a bully. If I ever did anything to anybody, there's a high chance that it was more so me retaliating for one, or just getting get back like later on because I didn't forget something. I am petty in that sense. However, I never wake up and say, you know what, let me poke this person until they get upset and then knock them out. I've never done that a day in my life ever. I never fought anybody that I just knew I could beat up and just like, I'm gonna fight them 'cause I know I could beat them up. No, anytime I had a fight, it's normally people I didn't want to fight in the first place, but I have no choice. So that's always been my narrative, and I feel like I had to address that because without that, you let people create a narrative for you. And I've been talking about this with someone special to me about creating a narrative and making sure that things are said and set clear. So I would be remiss if I didn't do that myself. So I want to make sure that narrative is set that, yeah, I'm no bully. I don't bully. I never bullied. People got to just be careful on what they're asking for, because I do that. I do come through. I do deliver. That's something I do. I deliver things. I do come through, and sometimes people ask for things, and then it causes me to deliver certain things. So I'll say that, to say the least, right? Also with that, I have no issues with no one. Like nothing, no issues at all. I'm the guy that I feel like if you need something podcast wise, whether it's a light, a microphone, a place to record at, somebody to help you do this, I'm the guy you kind of call, and I'll make sure things happen. You get what you got to get. And I will continue to be that way for anybody, any podcaster, whether you are a top tier podcaster, a lower tier podcaster, a sometime podcaster, a very consistent podcaster. I don't care. That's just how I am. If you in this field, regardless of how I feel with levels and tiers and stuff like that, if you in the field, you fair game, and I'm always gonna be willing to help you. You know what I'm saying? That's just me, and I'm always gonna show love all the time. Like, I'm not gonna stop showing love to nobody, regardless of what. But I want to start with that and make sure that narrative is clear on all jokes aside, because I don't want to ever be considered somebody who bullies someone, because that is not what I do. I don't start nothing. I just kind of be talking and doing my thing, which is also why I didn't do it Thinking Out Loud for so long, because I felt like so many things that was going on was still so fresh that it's natural to still kind of hit and talk about just unknowingly to do that. And I didn't want to do that. So I personally told myself I'm gonna chill for a little bit. I'll do some other podcasts, some other episodes I can do, and I'll dig into that. But I didn't want to be sitting up here in front of the camera and still so fresh from whatever this person said, that person said, or this person did, that person did, and be talking and having this any kind of situation linger on longer than it need to linger. You know, it was that was a one day thing, and it was done. So shout out to all the podcasters in the city, each and last one of y'all, nobody excluded. So, and like I said, I'm here for anybody, and I'm here to help anybody that need help, or guide anybody need guidance. You know what I'm saying? My phone line is open, and I talk to anybody about that. So, shout out to the city of Augusta, all podcasters, everybody. With that being said, speaking of narratives, let's dig into that, right? Speaking of narratives, there's a few things I wanted to talk about that's in the media right now that I feel like is a big thing. And I wrote it down, but I know I'm thinking out loud. I don't write stuff down, just kind of freely speak. So I'm trying to do that. And it was something particular I wanted to talk about with narratives that would have just been a good segue, but now I'm drawing a blank. Probably because my daughter's in the other room and I'm trying to make sure and listen out that she okay. So, but with the podcasting thing, right? I always talk about, privileged podcasters and third. I know that was a thing when I think out loud. You don't get to do some of the things that I've just done without not being privileged. And I mean by that is like, and this is why I kind of say like I be thinking differently when it comes to just quote unquote podcasting versus other things you're doing, podcasting and such. You know, like you got Ray Allen's a great shooter. You know what I'm saying? Paige Stojakovic is a great shooter. Steph Curry's a great shooter. LeBron's a great player. Like he's all around, he's a great player. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant is a great offensive player. He's not too much defensive, but he's great offensively. I feel like those are tiers and levels and stuff like that, right? And I feel like the same thing with podcasting. Like I said, I stepped back for a minute to make sure I didn't add no salt to an injury or salt to the wound or anything that was going on. But instead, I did Main and Slim. Make sure you go to the YouTube page, Main and Slim, by the way. Go subscribe. We put out some dope content for the last week and a half, and it's been doing great. Like, honestly, been doing great. Artists and just people that mean stuff in the city. We had Dorian Harris on. We had EJ, the comedian EJ Rogers on. Those were 2 amazing episodes. We had some artists on, which I'm not gonna go ahead and spare everybody, but you go to the page, some dope content on, some dope reels from that, some dope shorts from that. So some dope content from that. You know what I'm saying? Those was great things, and you don't get to do that without with having to go through some of the things you go through. I would say like podcast boot camp or something like that, right? Like I've had to do shows or podcasts rather where it's a 2-hour limit. We got to talk for at least 2 hours, and it's 3 topics. How do you stretch that out? Those are things it's like you training your brain to converse more, to communicate more, to go deep into topics, to break down topics, to break down things, to make sure this topic that would normally for the average person be a 2 to 3 minute topic, we stretching it out to 15, 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes because we're asking more questions within that topic. That's all I'll be getting at when I'm saying things. I'm never dissing nobody. I'm just saying some things are deeper than the surface. You ask me a question about this, that, and third, it's deeper than the surface, right? But in regards to the last piece of content I did put out while I was sitting in front of Mike and I had it and all this stuff on, right? You know, things like that, you have to kind of be in this field for a good little minute to have it hit the way you need it to hit, to paint that picture inside the line, like you're trying to paint that picture to make the colors be bright. You know what I'm saying? To have that that intricate coloring, that vibrant coloring. You know what I'm saying? High vibration coloring. You know, you got to have that kind of background in that kind of stuff, or in that field, to be in that field of talking and making them things up, right? So I'm gonna first touch on the ratchet stuff. I'm calling ratchet stuff. So I want to touch on the Meg and Tory Lanez thing, right? So when I talk about these things, I'm not going to talk about it from a personal standpoint and just give you some willy-nilly stuff or how I feel, but I'm gonna talk about it from a standpoint of something deeper, because I want to still be showing people that's watching this podcast and that you have to hit on topics different ways. You have to stand out somehow, some way. So I could easily sit here and say, oh, I think this, and I think this, because I feel like this, because I feel like that. But everybody's doing it. So you're going to have to hit topics ways that other people aren't going to hit those topics on, right? And so I seen a post about this case, about the Tory Lanez and Meg case, right? And it goes to the effect of, you know, his lawyers knew what they were doing by slut shaming Meg because black men was going to think this and think that, and y'all worked, and y'all are now talking about all these things that has no relevance to the case and blase, blase, blase. Some posts like that. So what I first want to say is this, right? I don't think it's cool for anybody to get shot. I've seen people get shot, been around that kind of stuff. It's if you're not in that life, it's probably not warranted. It's probably not warranted ever. But let's just go with that, right? So with that, this probably night that they had probably turned into something it shouldn't have turned into. I'll say that to say the least. I'm not gonna dance around something, right? You asked me, do I think Tory Lanez shot Meg Thee Stallion? Do I think that, like, with my whole heart of hearts and what I know or feel like I know or my vision, my point of view, what I think? I think yes, I think he did it. If that's what people want to know, I think he did it. If that's what people want to know about black men, or as far as this narrative being concerned, yes, I think Tory Lanez shot Meg. Okay, I do think that. I'm also a criminal justice major. I'm also a person with morals and values. I'm also a person that look at things from different points of views. I'm a person that I know people who have also shot people and done things and also didn't get sent to jail for, also beat the case. So I know that there's more to it than just me, you, her, him thinking that Tory Lanez shot Meg Thee Stallion. I know it's more than that. You gotta prove it. There's so many things that has to come to fruition for this to even be a true statement, whether it's true or not, right? So when somebody tweets something like that, I'm retweeting and saying like, oh, okay. So if you're telling me that, the defense used slut shaming and Meg lying about sleeping with this person or that person as a way to discredit her character, this, that, and third in the case, and then you telling me, oh, it's no relevance to the case, that tells me that you're too emotionally invested into this case. Because everything that was said in that tweet, it made no sense at all, because that's literally the defense's job. That's literally their job. They're trying to break that character down so that this jury sees that client as innocent. That's their job. And I'm not saying it to like be anti-Meg or to be pro-Tory. I don't care. Like I'm not emotionally invested in neither of those artists. So I can make clear judgment. I love his music, and I think she's a phenomenal artist. I like her music. But this I'm not cutting my judgment because of their music. I'm just being real. I'm a criminal justice major. You have to prove this stuff. You can't just say, oh, I got shot by that person. Now we have to figure out, okay, what evidence is going to say that you shot that person? You could say the residue. You could say this. Oh, we got people. We got eyewitnesses. Okay, what did the eyewitness say? This person say it didn't happen. Now what? So I'm not getting to the case too much. My only theory on that with that post was that I personally felt like when you post things like that and say, okay, the slut shaming and he slept with this person and she slept with that person but says she didn't, that has nothing to do with the case. What that does is to the jury, it says, damn, okay, you went on national TV and said, yeah, I didn't have a sexual relationship. You went on national TV and said, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. But then it comes out in court, you did do this, you did do this, you did do this. What that does to the jury at that time for the defense is say, okay, so this person can't be trusted really. So can we believe anything she say on the stand? Can we believe anything she say? Can we believe anything she said as far as evidence goes? So now you got the jury second guessing the case from the jump. Damn, okay. She said no, but it really was a yes. And that's not only, I don't have no hot takes on it. I'm not gonna give you no gender bias and F Meg and pro Tory, and I don't have none of that. That's just what it is. Like the truth is, you have to prove this stuff in a court of law, regardless of what. It's innocent people in jail because of great lawyers. There's guilty people in jail because of great lawyers that didn't seem guilty, but they were guilty. It just happens, and that really showed me that people really don't know the law. But this week has shown me that people are way too emotionally invested into artists or artistry, just not even artistry, into the artist personally, and can't detach their artistry from them as a person. Because just because you like Tory Lanez, it don't necessarily mean that he's innocent. Don't mean that whatever coming out of court don't mean this, don't mean that, don't mean that. The girl did get shot. I'll say the girl did get shot. I believe that, and they said it. Evidence shows she got shot. Who shot her? Like I said, I can say what I want to say. I can believe what I want to believe, but you gotta prove that, But to say that the defense doing what they did as far as slut shaming and proving that she said this, but this was trying to be a lie, and that turned out to be a lie, and she lied about that, that has everything to do with the case. Because now, if the common person is going to say, okay, well, if she lied about this, what else could she be lying about? If she lied about sleeping with this man, why wouldn't she lie about him doing X, Y, Z to her? So we got to stop being emotionally invested into the artist and take a second and start critically thinking for real. But I wish the best on anybody in that case. I never want anybody to go to jail, but I also don't want black women going around getting shot either. So take from that what you will. Um, what else happened? The Deion Sanders. Oh my God, Deion Sanders. So you got people calling Deion Sanders a sellout. Mind you, my thinking out louds are normally always based on like personal things and just giving nuggets on gems and life and stuff. This is different because I'm still trying to stay away from saying certain things because I still feel like a lot of stuff is fresh, and I don't want to be that person that just keep doing stuff. I'm trying to just you know. So yeah, with the Deion Sanders thing, right? So just to bring up speed, because anybody that don't watch football, I want to tell you what's going on. So Deion Sanders, he went to a HBCU, probably one of the top athletes of all football athletes of all time. Deion Sanders, definitely very influential in the NFL and just in black sports in general. Super dope individual and accolades out the ass. He went to Jackson State, right, University, and he went and succeeded, had a great program, turned the program around, got a lot of top athletes to come to the program that people normally couldn't do. And for years and years and years, people been trying to say, yo, we need to get our young black talented athletes to not go to these UGAs and go to the Alabamas and they come to HBCU, come to home. And he had brought that kind of culture to that school. One was he won, I don't know if it was three or I'm not crazy about football, but he won championships there, right? And he chose to leave the school and go to a PWI and for more money, right? So the idea of this now is you're a sellout. You came and you should have finished it. You should have finished it through. Should have saw it through. You should have did this. You should have did that. And once again, I could sit here and tell you, I feel like this. I think he should have did this. It's wrong that he did this. But I always try to stand out. My goal is not to be like every other podcaster, right? So my thoughts on this is this. I personally do think that he did leave for more money, which in turn, by definition, kind of makes you a sellout, right? If you're saying, okay, well, I left solely for money, then that'll make you a sellout. If that's what he left for, then yes, statement will be true, he's a sellout. If he left for more money and also he has a bigger plan to do bigger and better things, then I can't really call myself out until everything is done and everything he's done is shown like, okay, this is his plan. I don't know what that man planned. I ain't talked to Deion Sanders. I don't know him, right? I don't know him from nothing. But my only thoughts on that particular situation is this: when a college student comes to a program strictly for the coach and that coaching program, the coaching staff rather, of that program, and they have these bigger schools with bigger opportunities and better opportunities offering them this and offering them that, and they choose to say, no. I was sold on what this coach and coaching staff told me at the visit. So I'm going to make my decision to come to that school. I'm committed to come to this school because of what they sold me while I was there at my visit. That's where I would take issue at, because when you leave, you don't finish that out. You don't finish those students or those student athletes that left or that chose to come here versus a bigger and better opportunity they had because of some dream you was having or you was a part of and trying to give them. So I think that's kind of that's corny to me to do. I would say that. Am I calling a sellout? Like I said, that's debatable. I'm not here to call out any names. Deion Sanders is a wonderful athlete and he's done great things, and I think he'll continue to do great things. So I don't want to feel like I'm bashing him at all, but I do feel like nobody thinks about the student athlete when they do make them decisions for themselves, because when you want the athletes to come to the school and you're pursuing these athletes to come to the school, you pushing the school, you pushing the school programs, you pushing messages, you pushing your agenda, you pushing your plans for this individual, what y'all can do with the team, what y'all can do as a unit, as a program. And then when you decide to leave, unless you had these conversations with them, did you give those same players that room to say, hey, listen, I think you should stay because of this, or did you go make your own decision? So I feel like that's the only thing I would say about that. Being in that situation, my brother playing ball and going to a program, and then the coach leaving. It's like, well, damn, we never came here if you knew they was leaving. You know what I'm saying? I don't think people realize how much the coaching program at a university, or at a school rather, whatever you want to call it, is important in that player's decision of going there. So if I go to a school with the intentions of playing for Deion Sanders, like I'm skipping all these other schools that might be calling me. I want to play for Deion Sanders because he sold me some dream when I was at my visit that I'm now believing in. Now it's our dream. Yeah, I would feel away if he left. Just me. I would feel away if he left. But I can't sit here and call him nothing because, like I said, I don't play football. I'm not part of that. But me put myself in the athlete's shoes and the student athlete's shoes, I'd feel away. Would I want the best for a person? Yes, because that's naturally how I am. But I would feel away that I chose to come do something where I could have did something else based off a dream that you was telling me, or based off of an idea you was telling me you had for me and a plan for my future and my family and this, that, and third, and then you go and take off and not see it through. Yeah, I'm gonna feel away. Definitely gonna feel away 100%. So that's my thoughts on that. Oh boy, Gunna. All right, Gunna. To be honest with you, like I'm doing this right here, and I don't want to call no name. I don't want to call my name. So, YSL, the label, supposed gang, is in a RICO charge. It's a bunch of members in a RICO charge. Famously known rapper Gunna and Young Thug are also on that RICO charge. Been in jail for a while now, almost a year, almost a year. And Gunna finally accepted a plea deal, and he was able to walk, right? Not walk, but he's out. He's free. At least not in jail. I ain't say free, but he's not in jail. So it's been on the media, on social media right now. Oh, he's a rat. He's this. He's that. Like I said, I can sit here and tell you, I think he's this. I think he's that. That's not what I'm gonna do, man. I'm telling you, I'm a little different. Me being a criminal justice major, but me also having friends and just be close ties to a lot of other things. I'll say this, right? You gotta watch what you're doing. Like I said, be careful what you ask for. You gotta be careful what you're doing, man. Like, you gotta be careful with the things you insinuate, the things you involve yourself in, the things you stand next to, the things you stand close to, because standing close to something can easily hit you, right? So if you're standing close enough to something, you can easily get hit, right? And I say it to say, I've never looked at Gunna as anything that anybody else has looked at him as. I don't know if I can see through people. Not saying he's ass. I don't know him personally, but even the name Gunna, I felt like, why is his name Gunna for? I know he don't. I could just tell he's not like that, in my personal opinion. I didn't feel like he was from the same cloth as anybody that was YSL rapping. I felt like he was just a cool guy, probably was around, maybe talented, but I didn't feel like he was like that. I didn't feel that way. So I'm not surprised at all by anything that may or may not be going down. What I will tell you is this, though. I don't have a problem with Gunna taking his plea. That's what you want to do. Get home to your family. What people don't realize is this, right? I'll never condone telling on somebody I'll never condone snitching on somebody. You can tell on who you want to tell on, because if you're not in that life and you telling somebody, that's fine. You still told, but it's no points against your there's no chinks on your armor because you're not of that cloth. So it's fine. However, what people don't be seeing and don't be realizing or understand, because if you're not in that position, you don't get it. People, when you of a certain stature, people rely on you. So you make decisions not only based on, well, you have to make decisions based on you, but based on the people you taking care of, people that's underneath you. If you're a person who got kids and you got younger brothers and siblings who rely on you, every day you make decisions, you have to think about those people. Because any decision you make is going to directly affect them. With him being as famous and wealthy as he is, right? I'm almost for certain that he has a bunch of people that pretty much need him to be out making music and making his money and continue to do what he was doing so they can live the lifestyle that they've been living. I'm pretty sure he takes care of a lot of people. So I'm almost for certain that any decision he was making or had to make, one, it was tough probably, but it was more than likely not a decision based on what's gonna make Gunna happy. Right? It wasn't about him. I'm pretty sure it's about who's gonna take care of the things I'm taking care of if I'm not here. And then he had to go from there. I don't know what went to his thinking and what kind of plea he got. If he is telling, I don't know. Well, I do know, I guess, essentially. I think people gonna say he's telling or gonna label him as a rat rather. Label him as a tattletale because here you have a bunch of people on that RICO case that's trying to establish that YSL is only a label. It's not a gang, it's just a label. In the plea he took, he pretty much admits, yes, it's a label as well as a gang. So he's saying one thing and then a bunch of co-defendants are saying something totally different. So yes, that looks like a flip. That's just, that's what it is. But once again, I'm not here to talk about Gunna per se. My thing is always personal, right? I have a problem with people in the city talking about this case and ridiculing him as if they haven't done the same for less. Mind you, people that telling people or that have told people in the city or whatever it can be in this little radius area here who don't take care of nobody at all. Like you only thought about self when you told. I'm not saying this person telling is better than this person telling, because telling is telling, but what I'm saying is to really be ridiculing somebody knowing that you've done what you've done is wild as hell. To me, once again, that's wild. And I feel like this. I saw a post Curtis posted, and I'm not gonna read it, but it went to the effect of this. This is what it went to. I'm gonna end here. It said, a lot of y'all won't know what y'all gonna do if the police will interrogate you because they'll never interrogate you. Long story short, right? And I felt that. Like, people are talking about, oh, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't do this. You don't know because you're not into that lifestyle. You're not into that. The cops never talked to you, never pulled you over. You never had to talk about, hey, who shot this person? Hey, you never had this somebody tell you, oh, yo, if you don't tell me this, we're gonna throw you in the hole we're gonna throw you in jail for 10 days and we're gonna put a warrant out for your arrest for murder and you're facing 25 years. And it's okay. That's a good thing. But it's also a reason why you shouldn't be talking about something you don't know about. So there's nothing wrong with somebody not ever having to go through that or not ever having to sit in the interrogation room, not ever have to make a decision whether they should tell them their friend or not. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But also know that just because you don't have that kind of experience, you should probably stay away from this kind of topic. Like, if you haven't been interrogated, if you ain't ever been into nothing, take that as a win and go on. Like, go on. That's cool. Don't talk about it. But don't sit here and ridicule somebody who has. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what nobody say. I don't care. And I'll say this. I don't care what nobody say. The streetest of street people of all time. I don't care. The most gangsters nigga you know. I don't care. Nobody gonna know what they gonna do until they in that position. That's when it weighs on you. When the people that rely on you now have to really rely on you and see if you're gonna make a decision for them or for somebody else. It's always gang until it ain't gang no more. All right? It's always gang until gang. All right. You sit down for a long enough time and the people you think supposed to take care of your family and take care of things and taking care of things, you start looking back like, okay. Damn, I'm staying solid. You ain't staying solid. People free doing what they want to do. It's a lot that go into that. And I'm not here to preach. That's just my ideology on this. Like, people talk this snitching stuff when they're either one, they've done it, or two, they've never been around nothing remotely close to making a decision if they should do it or not. You ain't even been in that position to where you can ever be labeled as a snitch because you're not into nothing. It's almost really equivalent to like this. This is the equivalent to me of that. It's when I see people talking about, man, I go everywhere dolo, man, by myself. You know what I'm saying? I can go any hood in Augusta. I can go any hood in this state. I can go any hood in that state. Yeah, because you ain't know nothing. We all can. Brad down the street can go in any neighborhood he wants to. He ain't know nothing. They don't know him. They ain't out to get him. The thing is, people want to attach themselves to things that are, I guess they feel are big man things like that. This make me tough. Just because you can go in every neighborhood don't mean nothing. And I'm not saying that when you can't, it means anything, because that don't mean nothing either. But to praise that is I can go any neighborhood I want to go to. That's cool. Everybody's cool with you. I know. Because that's all it is. It ain't because they're like, oh yeah, this is big bad wolf. Let's back up. That's not the case. Majority of the time, people saying that. But that's the equivalence of that to me. Like, when people talking about, oh, he snitched, turn his music off, you would do the same thing more than likely. All right. A lot of people don't have people that depend on them. So y'all won't know what it's like to make a decision for anything other than yourself. Like, people haven't been in those situations. I'm talking about, and that's the thing, like, women, and I don't have a problem with women talking about street stuff, but even that, women will tell you, I ain't taking no shot for no man. I respect that. That lets me, all right, that lets everybody know, okay, I can't be this around her, I can't this around her. That's cool. That's a true statement, cool. I don't want no women around here talking about, oh man, Gunna's a snitch. What you know about that, bro? That's not, that don't concern you. You don't know nothing about that. We talking about that. You know what I'm saying? And guys as well that ain't never been into that. They never been interrogated. They never been. You have no business really talking about whether somebody is told or not, unless you're going to do something about it. For one, like, you wouldn't even. People might have told on you and you ain't done nothing about it. And also, there's people, if you ain't told on somebody, there's people that's talking about this as if they don't have people they hang with that has told on people, bro. And it's funny because I just got a text. I can say his name. I just got a text from somebody, and people been sending me screenshots all day. Like, this person laughed at the status, but they a snitch. This person commented, but they a snitch. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's why. And if I don't feel awake, I don't have no emotional attachment to it. But I feel like it's corny to ridicule somebody when you've done that for way less. Like I said, I don't know his situation. I just assume that, there's probably people counting on him to be out, be free, making music, making money because of the lifestyle they have to live. Am I saying it's right that he's gonna do what he's doing, or I don't know. I'm not into that. It's not my business. I ain't in YSL. I'm not signed to label or the game. Excuse me, I got the pickups, so I don't know. But I had a Snap. I had to put a video out last year on Snap, pretty much saying the same thing. Like, people be talking gang this and that, and I can go anywhere I want to go, or the ops know better. People don't be having ops. That'd be the thing. I gotta say that. That'd be the thing. For one, people don't be having ops. Okay, that's number one. Two, the ops you think you got don't be knowing they're your ops, which is why you go untouched and nobody bothers you. Which is why you can go in every neighborhood you want to go to. They don't know you for being active. You're not active. They don't know you for nothing. Deep down and, like, quietly, you might be claiming something. You might be standing next to something, but you ain't standing on it. And that's the only people I want to see talking like that. People that's standing on something. If you're standing on this set, that set, I don't agree with the lifestyle, but cool. If you're standing on that, more power to you. You can say that. If you stand on it, you stand next to it. But you know what? People that stand next to it be the gunners. That's who it be. It be gunner. Like, people like gunner. Like, you're an artist. Stay in the artist space. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't into all this. You don't have to be in this side of just be an artist. And I think that, I've seen that a lot just coming up, but I see a lot more now because it's cool, I guess, to slide or to act like you got ops or to act like you down with this gang or that gang. Y'all don't be about that. People don't be about that, man. Trust me. It's more people on this side of the road I'm on that's about that than the people that's actually in that lifestyle. And I'll be willing to bet money on that. So, yeah, man, I wanted to use this thing aloud to talk about them topics. Somebody mentioned talking about what was the topic? Talking about the Young Miami and P. Diddy thing, but I'm not gonna. That's nonsense. I don't really get into that kind of stuff. I feel like this, man. I personally do feel like this, and I'll say this. I think that to each his own. To each his own. To each his own. If you happy with whatever situation you got going on, cool. But own it. Always own it, and don't ever not own it ever in life. So if you are a side chick or whatever, own it. Don't act like it don't happen. Don't act like it didn't happen. Don't belittle it. Don't speak over it. Don't speak fast and try to speak through it when you grow up and you decide that you want to be a main or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Not saying she is, but that's my thoughts on it. I don't mind somebody like being a side chick if that's what they're okay with being, and that's what they're gonna be able to talk about it confidently and own up and stand on the fact that that's what they was. That's what they was. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with somebody being okay with being that, right? That is what it is. I mean, I don't, it is what it is. It's the ecosystem, man. Like it's a ecosystem in society, and I feel like you always need things to make other things feel a certain way, or if you don't have this, then you won't have that. Let's say that, to say the least. So side chicks, I mean, I'm not saying they're necessary or necessity, but they're around for reasons. For whatever reason they're around for, they're around for. Um, men side men, side niggas, whatever you want to call them. They're around for certain reasons. You know what I'm saying? Um, certain things you just won't get if you don't have them kind of things in play. So just like cockroaches, like people always say, "What the hell? We need cockroaches." But we need. I mean, I'm pretty sure everything and everywhere serves its purpose somehow, some way. That was wild comparing a sausage to a cockroach, but you know, stand on what you stand on, man. Take that how you take it. But yeah, man. Another thing out loud. Just wanted to kind of talk and put a thing out loud. I don't know what number this is. Hopefully it's 45 or something like that. But make sure you go like, comment on the picture. I mean, comment on the video. Tell me your thoughts. If you think somebody's this rat, think that. Like I said, my whole purpose of this is to tell you that there's different ways to tackle these topics without being emotionally invested into the topics, and that's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to convey. Hopefully, I did a good job artistically, but talking wise, to convey that message that I'm not emotionally attached to none of that stuff, and I can make clear, concise viewpoints on situations on these topics without getting emotionally invested. So, and I wanted to show myself that really. So that's all this was, man. Just a little spar, just a little words, just a little practice. This is me going to the gym right here, Make sure you go to the last episode I put out, the Side Juice episode. That was very, very dope. Drop of the Great episode was also very, very dope. Go comment on those videos. Tell me what you think. Go like them. Go share them. That's it. Man, we out. One Master Podcast.